Hi everybody, I'm Andy and my project is called Exploring Korean Culture. Why I chose this country to evaluate. I chose this culture to experience differences in norms, values, and practices that I'm not normally used to. I thought the Korean culture was a good opportunity for me to experience something new. I did my sojourn at the KSA Club, or the Korean Student Association here at Western. During the first meeting I attended, we introduced ourselves to each other by saying our names, what year we are in at Western, and what we are studying. After the introductions, we participated in some icebreaker games. These games helped us break the ice and meet new people who we may not have ever talked to before. After the games, the president of the club taught us some cultural facts about Korea. One of them was the importance of coffee in the culture. During 1896, the Emperor of Korea at the time drank coffee in the Russian legation. This was eye-opening for the Koreans because coffee was seen as a beverage that only wealthy Westerners drank. Koreans viewed it as a symbol of modernism. Later on, during the second meeting, we watched a movie called The Northern Limit Line, which is on Netflix. The movie is based on true historical events in Korea during the World Cup, which was hosted in South Korea in 2002. It was about a navy battle between South Korea and North Korea at the Northern Limit Line, which is kind of like a border in the Yellow Sea that separates North Korea from South Korea. At the same, no, at the time in the North Korean sh- at I'm sorry, at the time the North Korean ship crossed the limit line because they were spying on South Korea. Once South Korea found out that the spies were hostile, the two ships started war. The movie covered the movie covers what went on during the time of the battle and has some real footage in it. These are some of the things I took note of during my visit. I noticed that even though a majority of the club was Korean, everyone was still very friendly and inclusive in the sense that they treated everyone equally. Also, just like other Asian groups, Koreans tend to stay together, which is another big component of their culture. I decided to do more research on some informal and formal norms and practices inside Korean organizations and just the culture in general. They are considered a high context culture, which means they communicate in ways that are considered implicit, focusing more on context rather than on verbal communication or direct communication. Some traits of high context cultures include group harmony, saving face, and sending gifts or doing favors. An example one of these would be paying the bill at dinner for the group if you're the eldest one there.
Doing business with Koreans. In a world of 196 countries, do you know how well-rounded you are? Imagine yourself in the business world. You've learned it all in college and pulled every business skill trick out of the hat to play with the big dogs. But it's not enough in a world that's merging and where culture plays a key part. Do you know why Koreans invite you to parties and dinners oftentimes when doing business? Koreans value relationships and believe that creating a personal bond supports the business as well. Do you know why Koreans often ask about your age when they first meet you? Koreans determine the eldest in the group because it is important to treat them with a high level of respect. Did you know, as important as exchanging business cards in the initial meeting, Koreans also practice gift giving and bowing? It's simply a friendly gesture to maintain a good business relationship. Do you know why Koreans often make vague comments instead of being direct? Harmony and family atmosphere is crucial to the Korean business environment, so they are constantly considering their business partners. If you want to communicate successfully, you'll need to understand the Korean culture. In a world that's multicultural, companies need to know how to negotiate across cultures. You have a degree in business, and you know all the right...
That was just a little video summarizing what I just discussed in the previous slide. So, how all this helps me deal with diversity as a manager. In my example, Korea's formal and informal organizational norms are very different than America's. Some cultures communicate in an implicit manner which may be very hard to understand unless effective training is involved. We should try to better our knowledge about other cultures because they can contribute some valuable insight. But this is only done if they're given the opportunity to sustain their custom norms. This is also important because we are in a globalized economy, so a diverse workforce can help us understand and interact with foreign companies and organizations better. And I use the Denny's example because of their improvement. Even though Denny's still has major issues, they still improved their corporate image a lot through implementing new changes in diversity training and also adding bonuses for managers to encourage them to push the same initiatives. And for my last slide, I noted some benefits to implementing diversity changes in the workplace. First, it creates business growth and productivity. Second, it improves innovation because by giving everyone the same opportunities and access to resources, they will naturally become more engaged and encouraged to contribute their ideas. Ultimately, this sets everyone in the organization up to have shared or mutual goals. And based on Chapter 13 study, there is a positive correlation between racial diversity and a company's performance when the company strategy is based on growth. Also, diversity improves a company's corporate image, which can also enhance its stock value because it opens up investment opportunities domestically or globally. And lastly, it creates competitive advantages in cost reductions through less turnovers, advantages in competition for talent in the workplace, and reduced lawsuits and other things that may harm the image of the company. Overall, I enjoy my experience at the Korean Student Association. It's very interesting to view another culture, especially from a minor's perspective. I took a lot from this experience, and I hope that it will help me in the future. Thank you for your time.